So listen, it is almost 5 o'clock on a Friday. I want to go have date night with my sexy, beautiful wife. And so this is going to be, these are the sacrifices, just so you understand, that I make, is to come out here. It's like I said, 5 o'clock. It's date night time for me, baby. I want to go hang out with that sexy woman, but I never miss. And I love that she understands that. That being said, I'm going to knock this out, and then I'm signing off for the rest of the night. I can go spend time with her, because 2 decades she's been my best friend. But some of this actually has to do with her, because could you imagine not knowing, like, your spouse looking at you, and this isn't about dementia or Alzheimer's. This is about a limitless stack, like making your brain function so high performance that remembering things is easy, right? Putting things together is easy. Just becoming much more wise and having real world applicable cognitive and executive function that's just on tap. Those are normal abilities. If you don't understand, that's because you're lied to. Like, understand, let me get one thing straight. I'm going to show you how to do it all. Most of you, what you've been told about your own mind is a fucking lie. Yeah, listen to me. I'm not out here I don't get anything from this. Like I said, buy from Elite, don't buy from Elite. I don't care. I'm still here. Even when jack off Google decides to mute or hide my videos or whatever the hell else it does, because they're like, oh, you can't talk about that. That's not good. Like, whatever. This is the most ridiculous thing, is when you are helping people, you get muted. When you are helping people, you get suppressed, canceled, ostracized, hated, but yet it's still the help that people need. And it actually ends up costing. If you don't understand that they're trying to control you and pigeonhole you into, and this isn't tinfoil hat stuff. Look around. Most of the people that are listening to this are fat. And they're broke, and they're alone, and they're miserable, and they are being told that that's how life is. And cognitively, your brain just isn't not kicking in, where you're like, that doesn't even make sense. No, you just buy it because you're taught in school to believe, not learn. You're taught to believe the teacher, to never question the teacher, to always do what they say. And if you go against the grain, you get shit, which basically means in order to get along, you have to go along. You are not taught to learn, except the school should teach you to do one thing very well, to learn how to learn. Well, I'm going to do that. This is just a stack that I'm going to use myself as a guinea pig, by the way, for this entire thing. So if you don't understand, the pharmaceutical industry is hilarious, because they will tell you to do all kinds of stuff, but they won't do it themselves. How is that not a red flag? Yet some of you Muppets listen to them and go, is it FDA tested? I need to see the research. All the research says that you shouldn't take it, whatever it is, just so you know. Like, listen, they tell you that cognitive decline is inevitable. Like, it's like gray hair, or taking half your wages in taxes. Fucking theft. Like, you hit 40, 50, I'm 52, 60, and poof, magic's gone. The brain, like, my biggest fear, next to not being able to give my wife everything and give her the life that she deserves, really, and not being able to just give it all to her, man. My biggest fear is losing my ability to use my brain. Right? Like, they tell you that the processor starts to throttle, and you forget names, and you lose your keys, and you struggle to learn new things. And what's the solution that they give you? Well, it's just age. It's just aging, bro. It's just aging. Here's your crossword. Maybe try some Sudoku. It's like seeing your brand new car sitting in the driveway, just slowly rusting and decaying and falling apart and sloughing off paint. And your mechanic just says, well, that's just cars for you, man. Here's a can of spray paint. Maybe some WD-40. Like, that's what they're trying to sell you, and you guys are buying into it. We've been sold a narrative of managed decline. The entire pharmaceutical industry is not built on cures. Cures are a one-time sale. It's built on management. It is a subscription service. Listen to me. Fuck, you guys sometimes aggravate me because you're like, oh, here's another guy. Yeah, but then you just go on to the next podcast or the next video and just go, maybe there's another hack I can use to get the life I want, get the brain I want, get the girl I want, get the money I want, get the body I want. And all of it is built on something that you are looking for easy, not for the solution. They love people like you because you're a subscription model client, right? That's what health is. It's a subscription service for your deteriorating health. They don't make money if you're healthy. They make money if you're sick enough to need the product, but healthy enough, just healthy enough to keep paying for it. It's the most profitable business model in human history. And your brain, just so you know, most of you guys don't even know this, your brain is their favorite customer. What if I told you that cognitive decline, 90% of what we call cognitive decline isn't decline at all? It's not some mystical, unstoppable force that's going to destroy you. It is shitty input. That's what it is. Shitty input, systems failure. It's your brain's hardware becoming completely corrupt, It's the pathways get clogged up. The power supply is dwindling because you've been feeding it garbage data and you're starving it of all the right fuel and you're poisoning it with a modern environment that it wasn't designed for. Listen, I don't know how you guys don't understand that your brain is the most advanced biological supercomputer on the planet. You're running it on a corrupted operating system with a dying battery and a cooling fan that's clogged with crap. Try that with you. But you guys will spend all kinds of money on your car. You know what's wild to me? People will they'll spend 10 grand on a new pair of tits, but they won't spend $50 on real health. They'll spend 200 grand on a car while they're smoking cigarettes and doing rails of coke off the hood, and they are about 100 pounds overweight. I don't get it. Except the one thing, your brain, it's even above your body. The one thing that allows you to do everything is this gray matter right here. And it is the one thing nobody does anything about until they start to slide down that slope and then freak out and you spend any amount of time, money, and energy to repair it. Listen, my job every time I come out here is to hand you the solution. Like if your brain was a computer, it's to hand you this set of screwdrivers, the little tiny ones that you need little tiny midget hands to use, and a bunch of can of compressed air and the code to reflash the entire thing. That's my job. Like I'm a doctor and a problem solver, like a solution creator. That's what I look for. And unlike the white coats that read from a script that's paid for by modern pharmacy, I'm the guinea pig. I'm the guinea pig, me. So you guys get the answers. I run experiments on myself because the proof isn't in the damn paper. It's in the fucking performance. Like one of my only fears, other than I told you, my wife not getting the life she deserves because I can't provide it for her, that my only fear outside of that is losing this. This for all of you guys listening, I'm tapping my brain. I'm tapping my temple. It's this edge, my ability to learn and to synthesize and to execute and to create and solve. Because without that, I can't provide for my family at the level that they deserve. I can't help the millions of you guys that are being systematically lied to. So let me explain how your brain goes sideways, and then let me explain how to fix it. So you guys go, holy shit, Bradley Cooper has nothing on what I'm capable of. No, I'm not kidding. I've talked about a limitless stack before. I'm running this on myself just to see what happens. And I'm going to run all kinds of tests, memory tests, all kinds of stuff, just to see what happens with myself. I don't care if you guys do it or not. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm doing it because I want to see just how smart I can get. Like we need to talk about the root cause, like the dust clogging that fan, the corrupt code that your brain is running, because the primary drivers, listen to me, the primary drivers of this decline, mitochondrial dysfunction. Understand, your brain is only 2% of your body weight. I've said this many times, but it consumes at least 20%, if not 25% of your energy. Your mitochondria are power plants in every cell, right? These little nuclear reactors in every single cell. And when they crap out, your brain is the first thing to brown out, like a blackout, right? Just rolling black, just turns down. You get brain fog, slow processing speed. It's like a voltage drop in your CPU. If you understand computers, that's not a good thing. Neuroinflammatory problems, because your brain's immune system gets triggered by crap food and stress and toxins and oxidative stress. This is like a low-grade virus running in the background of your computer, eating up RAM and processing power, slowing everything down to a crawl. It's like you got hit by a spam bomb or a pop-up bomb, and your computer just runs like a turtle. A cholinergic deficiency. Your brain uses a neurotransmitter, just to be clear, called acetylcholine very effectively. It is the key. Here's why it's important. It is the key for learning, memory, focus, assimilation. It's the electricity that flows through the circuits. And as we age, the system degrades and the wires get a little frayed up and the signal gets weak. And then you have exactly what I talked about just a minute ago, which is oxidative stress and NMDA receptor burnout, which, without getting into the details, because I don't want to lose you in the neurology of this, but free radicals, essentially, they slice through your neural wiring like corrosion on a circuit board. If you have a circuit board, the corrosion is just going to trash it, right? Meanwhile, the NMDA receptors, these crucial components for synaptic plasticity, neuroplasticity, for making new connections and solving, like creating more capacity, get overused and desensitized. It's like overheating your CPU until all the solder melts. Okay, great. And the medical establishment's answer? Yeah, a drug at best is a drug that gives you slightly jittery, unsustainable bump in only one transmitter, just one, while ignoring the entire failing system. It's a software patch for hardware meltdown. That is the issue. And they know it. They fucking know it. I'm going to give you the hardware upgrade. They fucking know what they're doing. Like I said, I've talked about this Limitless stack before. This is like the evolution of the Limitless stack. This is Limitless 2.0, if you want to give it some weird, catchy name. I don't care about names. I don't care about labels. I care about things that work. This is a stack that I am personally going to run for the next 60 days just to see how far I can push this machine right here. Again, I'm tapping my head. So I'm going to move from incremental improvement to just exponential overclocking this machine. I just want to see what's going to happen. So let me explain how this works. 4 components, and then I'm going to talk about a couple of bonuses that I think would really enhance this and make it work very well. Phenylpiracetam Hydrazide. This is essentially like a CPU overclock, but it ain't your standard racetam. This is an engineered, extremely high octane version. Think of your brain's neurons as transistors, right? If you understand how this all works. So over time, they get sluggish and the electrical signal weakens. Phenylpiracetam Hydrazide, yes, it needs to be this one. By the way, this isn't meant to cure, treat, diagnose, advise, prescribe. It is only hypothetical. It is only entertainment, and it is only educational, and it's all theoretical. All this is made up. All this is a story. It's like a kid's book. If you know, you know. So phenylpiracetam hydrazide is it's a positive allosteric modulator of the AMPA receptors. So in plain English, let me explain what this is, because otherwise I'm going to get lost in the neuro again. It makes your neurons more sensitive to something called glutamate, which is the main excitatory transmitter of your brain. It's like replacing your standard CPU with one that has a higher clock speed and way better instructions per cycle, right? So I hope that makes sense. But it does more than that. It upregulates dopamine D2 and D3 receptors. So dopamine isn't just about pleasure. That's the sale they give you. It's not it. It does so much more than that. It's the molecule of motivation, of focus, of salience. So it tells your brain what's important. This compound scrapes and cleans the dopamine receptors like a steel brush cleans them off, making them hypersensitive to the signals that they're already getting. It's like defragging the hard drive where your motivation files are stored. So if you're lacking all of that, this is where you need to start looking. Instead of going, I need to read some fancy book, or I need to listen to some kind of music, or I need to go get myself a coach, which is all great. But if the machine isn't running right, it doesn't matter what you're listening to, reading, who you're watching. It doesn't matter. I mean, this is why I'm trying to get you to understand this. You can have the most effective things in front of you if the machine can't do anything about it. That's why this brain matters. Physiologically, just so you understand, it increases cold tolerance, which is a sign of a radically upregulated metabolism. Your brain's power plants are burning fuel more efficiently, so they don't overheat. This is a straight neural processing upgrade there's no fluff in this. If you want me to get fancy about it, I can, but there's no need to. If it runs cooler, it runs better. It's like turbocharging your engine. It actually makes your engine run cooler. So the second thing I'm going to run, this is just me. I'm just telling you what I'm going to do. Aniracetam. It's like an anxiety shield. I don't get anxiety. I get stressed out of my mind, but welcome to being an entrepreneur. If phenylpiracetam hydrazide is the CPU overclock, look at Aniracetam as the highly engineered or sophisticated software that optimizes the system's memory and then reduces all the background noise. Because that's what's screwing things up, is all the background noise. Aniracetam is a very potent ampakine, but it's the magic in this is in the modulation of acetylcholine and its effects on GABAergic system, on the entire GABAergic system. It increases the density of muscarinic cholinergic receptors. If you remember, so follow me. If you remember acetylcholine, the learning and memory neurotransmitter, Aniracetam gives more receivers. It gives you more receivers for that signal, right? So there's more there to take more, so you get to do more. Does that make sense? But here's the genius of the entire thing. Modern life is a fucking anxiety machine. Anxiety is like a million pop-up ads on your mental browser. It kills focus, it destroys concentration, and it makes you lose track of everything you're doing. Aniracetam, unlike benzodiazepines, which are going to screw you up completely because they just shut down the whole damn system, it selectively modulates GABA A receptors. So it reduces anxiety without any sedation whatsoever. So when you take something like Xanax or Valium, right, benzodiazepines, number one is they're terrible for you, but number two is they suppress the entire CNS. So you have this sedation that is systemic. Aniracetam doesn't do that. It just modulates GABA A receptors. That's it. It's very selective. So it's like a like a pop-up ad blocker for your mind. It quiets the useless noise in the background that I was talking about, so the important signals can come through very clearly. The other part that it does, it boosts brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF. BDNF is like the code for growing new neural connections. It's the protein that says to the brain, hey, listen, that was a really important thought, so why don't we call in the construction crew and build a permanent road for that entire thing? Aniracetam is the architect of your brain's new infrastructure. So if you have a really screwed up infrastructure, this is going to clear up a lot of that. I hope this makes sense. Oxiracetam. This is like if you understand computers, that's why I'm trying to use it this way. It's like a RAM upgrade. This is a workhorse. This is a workhorse. This stuff's savage. This is pure, unadulterated cognitive enhancement. Oxiracetam's primary mechanism is boosting, powerfully boosting, by the way, acetylcholine synthesis. So it makes more. It doesn't just make receptors more sensitive, it gives you more of the raw electrical current itself. So it cranks up the power. It very specifically enhances the activity of high affinity choline uptake, called HACU. It's the HACU system. This is the dedicated pipeline that transports choline. Remember, and I'll get to Alpha GPC in a second because it has to do with this is the because it's the precursor to acetylcholine. It's the fuel into the neurons. So we're not just turning up the voltage, we're upgrading the power cables. So it's like if you took a 30 gauge, like you take a speaker wire, little tiny one, not some crazy monster cable, and you try and run 220 through it, you're going to torch that wire. But if you take like a 6 gauge or an 8 gauge, some giant slab of wire, no problem. It can handle the upgrade because it can transmit the power. That's what this is doing. So the result of this is radically, dramatically improved logical analysis, learning acquisition, and long-term memory consolidation. So now we go back to being able to recall things that you did when you were 7. Remember, if your brain is a computer, follow me. If your brain is a computer, oxiracetam doesn't just add more RAM, it gives you faster, more efficient RAM with better read-write speeds. So the hard drive spools up even faster. So my son, yes, he's a fighter, but he also plays his PlayStation and Xbox with his friends, and he'll talk about speed on his external hard drive. I had to get him a different one because the one he had was spooling up too slow and the games were really chattery, kind of dodgy. So this, if you understand that, if you play any video games, you understand what I'm talking about. The faster the speed, the faster the access. The faster the access, the faster the output. So you can hold more data in your active working memory and process it faster when you're taking aniracetam, right? Or when you're taking oxiracetam. This is the compound. This is why I'm putting this together, because I want to see just how intelligent I can get, to be honest. I just want to see what happens. This is a compound for deep work and looking at complex problems and crushing them, absolutely crushing them. So because all of this is hungry, Alpha GPC it's non-negotiable. Otherwise, you're going to build up tolerance. You're going to have all kinds of problems. So you can have the world's best engine because Alpha GPC is like premium fuel. If you pour watered down shitty gas or gas that's been sitting in that tank forever in it, it's going to sputter and die. Alpha GPC is the 100-octane racing fuel for your cholinergic system. And it is exactly that. It is the most bioavailable form of choline. It crosses the blood-brain barrier with incredible, it's easy, it's efficient as hell, and donates a choline molecule directly to acetylcholine synthesis. It's the raw material. The other racetams are like the engineers and the electricians. Alpha GPC is the delivery truck full of all the most elite parts, right? It's like, what's his name from, never mind, scratch that part. It's like, what's his name from Fast and Furious? You worked for, Harry? Was this Harry? Harry? I just remember he drove up in that lightning and hit the curb. And Paul Walker, God rest his soul. Seemed like a good dude, huh? I realize that's a tangent. He just seemed like a good dude. But it was like Harry's, right? You go in there and they see Dom race with his Mazda RX-7 and all the stuff, and people flood in and buy all the craziest parts that he has. Well, that's what this is. The Alpha GPC it's all the crazy parts. It's just nothing but top shelf parts. But it's more than just fuel, you guys. Listen, it also upregulates the production of growth hormone. So growth hormone it's essential for cell repair, and neurons are cells. Growth hormone affects the system. It's not just for muscles, because growth hormone is the maintenance crew that comes in. It's like an MIT crew. They only know what to do. They only know what they're trained to do, and what they're trained to do, they're very good at. So they don't have all these erratic kind of effects. They only do the repair that they need to, that they're designed to do. And they work around the clock. So it's a crew that works the night shift, the day shift. And if you look at how deep sleep works, in fact, they work harder at night. That's why if you look at things that fix your sleep, you're not a hero if you're sleeping 2 hours a night and you're taking every stimulant on earth to stay awake because you're not allowing your system to repair itself. You're actually getting dumber and weaker by doing that. Sorry to break it to you. You're not a hero. You're a fucking idiot. So if you're like, I get up at 2:30 and I go to bed at midnight, I'm a hero. No, you're not. You're a moron and you're ignorant to your body's own physiology. No, you don't need 8 hours of sleep. I think that's ridiculous. That was invented by Thomas Edison to split up the day into equal parts, right? Sleep, work, and play. However, that's a whole other conversation. I actually think I talked about that way back. Like we're talking podcast 3 or 4 when I would do them outside in my truck sitting on my steering wheel. And one day I just got cold and I decided to come in here instead. But you have to look at the system and understand if you're not getting the rest, you're not fixing the system. It's not about building muscle. This is about even opening up the channels to allow that pressure washer, right? The lymphatic system to clean out the amyloid plaques, the tau tangles, all the things that are causing problems and causing the cognitive decline. So it's not just a matter of giving the right fuel and all the high grade parts. It's also allowing the system to repair itself so it can build. It's constantly evolving, right? So you build this system, this machine that's capable of incredibly high performance, and then you use it during the day. And then when you go to bed, it goes, let's build another level, more RAM, faster speed, right? It keeps doing this, but if you're not getting rest, it can't do that. So eventually you're gonna tap out. So here's what happens, because if this is why growth hormone is so critical. And no, I'm not telling you to take CJC or ipamorelin or tesamorelin or anything. For the love of God, don't take sermorelin. That stuff is garbage. Prolactin spike. It is so crap. It is such crap. Stop asking me why I never talk about sermorelin. There you go. I just told you, because it is dirty, old, shitty half-life, garbage results, tesamorelin, CJC, ipamorelin. Those are the ones. Take sermorelin if you have it and throw it in the trash. I don't know how many times I need to say this, and you guys get in my comments and argue about it. You argue about it going, yeah, it's good. I got great results. Okay, great. What if you could get X the results, 50X the results by something that's cleaner and better for you? You guys argue because you don't want to be wrong, because then it admits that it's like you think you're admitting some crazy fault and you're just a loser for doing it. You're actually a loser for fighting to stay there. Don't be a fucking loser. So if this growth hormone maintenance crew, this MIT crew, repair crew, can't work throughout the night and fix the wear and tear from the day of intense processing, without the choline, here's what happens. Your brain starts cannibalizing its own neuronal membranes in order to make acetylcholine, right? So if you look at even things like semaglutide or tirzepatide, which are also crap, pure crap, and the rebound is ridiculous. I don't care what you try and say. They're garbage. It's just to be very clear, if you're listening to this and you're the person that asked me, how do I make retatrutide work better? Because tirzepatide worked great all on its own, but retatrutide doesn't. If retatrutide doesn't make semaglutide and tirzepatide look like a tricycle, and you are in an F-22, which is always the example I use, Raptor, plane, jet, what you bought was bunk. And you did not get it from Elite. 100%. You did not. So I'll tell you right now, retatrutide, here's the likelihood of it working. Nothing comes close to this. Semaglutide and tirzepatide are obsolete. It's like going back to a Commodore 64 or a TSR 80, or a VIC-20. If you know, by the way, because then you are a product of the 80s, because those are old ass computers. It's like a ColecoVision and you're playing Smurfs, right? Or baseball with that weird joystick, or Slither. If you know, you know. Which is funny, because somebody's going to hear that and go, holy shit, I remember that. The rest of you guys are like, I don't even know what language he's speaking. Is that like, what is that? What's an Atari? Yeah, we had these things called cartridges, and the joystick had one big red button and a big fat rubber knob, and that's it. That's how you played. And it was big blocks, chasing little blocks, shooting even smaller blocks at those blocks. That was your video game. So the shit you guys have is outlandish. VR. Last time I took a ride on a VR roller coaster, I almost puked my brains out on the couch because it felt ridiculous. I sat there and I spun for a little while. My son laughing his ass off. So enough with your tech. He's making fun of my tech examples. Atari, baby. Atari. There you go. You had the blow in the cart. You had the cartridge, or the yank the cartridge tricks. You'd yank it out at the right time and you get extra lives or invincibility. If you know, you know. So it's like, to come full circle, because you guys are like, where the hell are you going with this? This is my house. I just talk. Buckle up, baby. But if you run, like, that's the problem with tirzepatide and semaglutide, is they cannibalize your own tissue. 30% is fat loss. 70% is tissue loss. What are you doing? I had some guy go, well, but my wife bought like $1,900 worth of tirzepatide, so she kind of wants to do it. Your life's only worth $1,900? I can't. It just makes my head hurt. You guys, I feel dumber for saying that. Where's my phenylpiracetam? The Hydrazide, because it's better. So listen, like I said, without enough choline, without the alpha GPC, your brain starts chewing up its own neuronal membranes to make acetylcholine. So the alpha GPC stops that self-sabotage and it keeps the hardware intact. That's important. Now here's the network effect of the entire thing. Because when you take one of these, it's like upgrading a single component of a really old computer. It kind of helps, but you're putting new parts in something old. So maybe you get faster browsing speed. I don't know, whatever. But when you put them together, you're not upgrading a component. You're building a new fucking data center. And the data center is this thing. Like people are looking for better ways to do what? Make you lazy? I'm looking for better ways to make you better. That's it. I'm looking for more savage ways to make you faster, stronger, without harming the system, right? Like I'm looking at that 911 Turbo that I drive, and people go, why don't you get a different car? Well, I have other cars, but I love that car because it is the most upgradable car I've ever driven. And it's a car that just goes, that's all you got? Give me more. It's a 1400 horsepower Porsche, and you don't even notice until you stand on it, and then you notice. But ES Motorsports, they make 2,000 horsepower Porsches that are daily drivers, and they will smoke the piss. I don't care if your exotic is $5 million. I will dust you any day of the week. Put a pink down and then let's race. You're not going to win. And all the arrogant people with their Mustangs and their Camaros are about ready to come out, or their new Corvettes. I'll take you any day. I'll take you all day, baby. But the reason I say that is it's designed for the upgrade. So are you. It's like the old school 5-liter Mustangs. They were just designed for parts, man. You put Crane Fireball heads on, and you put put a Muncie 4-speed in instead of that Tremac 5-speed that it had, and you just upgrade the shit out of that Mustang, and it just said, that's all you got? Give me it. They just did. They didn't handle so well. They had rear drum brakes, and you hit a set of train tracks, and you thought the dash was going to fall into your lap, and they handled like a shopping cart, but holy shit, were they fast, which is why kids working at gas stations that had no business buying one of these cars could afford one because they were cheap. But I'm telling you, they handled the upgrades like a champ. That's what you are, but you aren't. You're the Porsche, not the 5-liter. So here's how this looks. If you spin this all together, you mix it all up. Alpha GPC delivers the raw choline fuel. Oxiracetam supercharges the conversion that fuels into acetylcholine to become the electrical current, right? Phenylpiracetam Hydrazide makes the neurons hypersensitive to that current from oxiracetam, so it overclocks the processor. And then Aniracetam defrags the memory, and it blocks all the anxiety pop-ups that show. I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. This stuff's insane. Blocks all the anxiety pop-ups that lays down neural pathways because of the BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, to handle the increased throughput, not output. They feed on each other. More choline lets oxiracetam make more acetylcholine. More acetylcholine is amplified by phenylpiracetam's receptor sensitivity. So the whole system runs cleaner and faster and more efficiently because aniracetam is optimizing the environment. That's why you need to you need to understand neurology and physiology and how the system works. So this entire process becomes radically greater than the sum of its parts. It's a positive feedback loop of cognition amplification. That's a fun thing to say, isn't it? But why stop at phenomenal? This is what I'm thinking. This is just me. I want to see what happens. Go full unlock mode. So if I was going to add anything to this, is just spinning off the top of my head, a methylene blue. I realize it's a 100-year-old dye, but it's one of the most profound and effective cognitive enhancers known to man. Methylene blue's mechanism is so elegantly simple, and oh God, it is devastatingly effective. You guys are chasing coffee, and I'm going, how do I upgrade the computer that's still in my skull? Because here's what methylene blue does. 2 things. Powerful. I talked about this before, right? It's an electron cycler in the mitochondrial electron transport chain, the ETC. So your mitochondria are like a battery, or a nuclear reactor is a better example, I guess. But they create this energy by moving electrons down a chain. It's called the proton gradient. And over time, electrons, they leak out, and the efficiency drops. Methylene blue comes in, and it catches those, it scoops up those leaking electrons and shoves them back into the train. So it shoves them back into the chain, and it essentially supercharges ATP. It's like I said, jet fuel for ATP production, right? It's like replacing your laptop's dying shitty ass battery with a nuclear reactor, and your computer can actually take that power upgrade. The energy boost to the brain is instant, immediate. You can take methylene blue. Every time I've taken methylene blue, I notice in the span of 8 to 10 minutes. That's how effective this stuff is. It's unbelievable. Here's the other part. It is a reversible, it is self-propagating. It flips back and forth. It is a reversible monoamine oxidase inhibitor. So it slows the breakdown. This is so badass. It slows the breakdown of crucial neurotransmitters like dopamine and norepinephrine and serotonin, which you're always in either hyper supply or short supply, but never the supply they need, which means that these molecules, because of methylene blue, stick around longer and work significantly harder. It's like increasing the latency and bandwidth of your brain's entire network. Methylene blue doesn't just make your brain work better, by the way. It rewires its fundamental energy metabolism. This is a deep system upgrade, and you can take it every day. If you're like, well, how long can I take it? Take it every day. I'm going to go through bottles of this stuff. I might just turn into a fucking Smurf. I'm going to be blue. I've pissed blue so many times, it's ridiculous. You know what that is? A receipt for the work I'm doing. Now, MOTC. MOTC is more like a firmware upgrade. This is, you get that little notice, it says upgrade your firmware. That's what MOTC is. This is mitochondrial-derived peptide. It's a signaling molecule that comes from the DNA itself, like within the mitochondria itself. And it has one very simple job. It's to tell your body to improve metabolic efficiency, especially under stress. We are in a stress fucking environment all the time. So it enhances glucose uptake. So it helps what? Glucose sensitivity issues, right? And it enhances utilization of the glucose. Again, solves the glucose resistance problem. Or the insulin resistance problem. So remember, your brain runs on glucose. MOTC ensures that every single ounce of sugar that you consume is used for energy and not stored as fat. It is the ultimate metabolic optimizer. That's why when people ask me, should I really take MOTC? That's like going, should I really drink water or should I really breathe oxygen? Yeah. Hypothetically for your kangaroo, you should. But it has such crazy effects on the brain. It crosses the blood-brain barrier and it reduces neuroinflammation and oxidative stress, which are the two primary corrosives that are destroying the neuronal wiring or the neural wiring. It's like applying I gotta be careful with this, nanotech. It's like applying a nanotech anti-corrosive coating to every circuit in your entire brain, and it protects the upgrade that we just installed. That's why this stuff works so well. So you have to look at things that you're doing and see if they work synergistically, because otherwise all you're doing is throwing things in the pot and hoping it tastes great. But most of the time it doesn't. It tastes like crap and it looks like crap and it functions like crap, and all it does is make you crap. So that's why this stuff's really important, which is why I come out here, so you understand it. If you ask me something about, like I said, engineering, I don't know. I got no idea. Tab A goes into slot B. That's what I know. But this stuff, yeah, I know this. So let me give you the full architecture, the whole blueprint, so you understand. And then I'm going to go inside because I want to go hang out with Brandy. So MOTC is running in the background, right? The firmware update that protects the entire system from corrosion and optimizes the allocation of the energy, right? Pretty much the ATP and everything like that. And how you get it uses glucose functionally versus to store it, right? Methylene blue has reflashed the BIOS. So it maxes out mitochondrial energy production and optimizes neurotransmitter networks. Alpha GPC is awesome because it's pumping this constant clean stream of ultimate fuel, choline, into the system nonstop. Oxiracetam converts that fuel that it's getting into this massive torrent of acetylcholine electricity. Remember? So you got to go back to what I was talking about. Now here's where Phenylpiracetam Hydrazide comes in. It's overclocking every neuron to be very sensitive, hypersensitive to that acetylcholine electricity. Now, do you see how this stitches together? And then Aniracetam is managing the entire system. So it's cleaning up the memory, it's blocking junk data, which is the anxiety, and it's building new and wider data highways with the BDNF, right? Brain-derived neurotrophic factor, to handle the massive increase in traffic that's about to show up. So the data stream, you can handle a lot more data, which means the system is doing better. So you're no longer really a human, you're this neuro supercomputer, and you didn't have to have a chip implanted in your head. Boy, that weirds me out. The things I've seen, almost instantaneous recall, your learning curve is like vertical. Your focus it's insane. And your mental endurance, see, that's the thing, is when you get mentally exhausted, you just fade out. The mental endurance is almost limitless. You've upgraded the very substrate of your success. And that's how I think you should look at things, whether it's your job, your marriage, your fitness, your mind, your whatever you're doing. That's how you should be looking at this. Because listen, let's be very clear about this. Increasing your mental capacity isn't a vanity project. It's the master key to every single door. Health, wealth, relationships, they all require superior cognitive function to build and maintain. Agreed? And if you say, no, they don't, I will prove you wrong every day of the week. You cannot out-earn your cognitive ceiling. You can't solve complex, health problems with a foggy, screwed up brain that doesn't know how to comprehend anything. You can't be the leader in your family, the one that your family fucking needs right now, if your processor is throttling because you keep putting garbage in it and it doesn't know how to take care of itself. This is about taking agency. It's about rejecting the narrative of managed decline and embracing a future of engineering or engineered ascension of yourself, of your mental capacity. The pharmaceutical industry wants you sick and subscribing. I want you powerful and a fucking menace to every aspect of the pharmaceutical industry because you're free. So just to be very clear, I'm running this exact setup for 60 days. I'm the guinea pig. Find me a CEO of Pfizer that's willing to take any of the shit they make you guys take. They won't do it. I am, because I know what I'm doing and I trust myself, which means if I trust me with it, you can trust me with it. But I'm going to run this for 60 days. I'm the guinea pig. The proof will be in the output. And the companies that I've built, the lives that I get to change, the value I get to create, the fact that I come out here and I never fucking miss. The world is run by people who show up. Listen, but it's dominated by those who show up with the fastest processor and the most functional system in the entire room. So stop accepting this lie of decline, you guys. This is a way to overclock your brain in a very safe way and make it run the way it's supposed to, instead of the way it's being beat up and shut down very slowly. It's like boiling a frog, right? They just turn up degree at 1 degree at a time until you realize you're 45 or 50 years old, 35, whatever, 70. And the system isn't working. And they go, yeah, but that's normal. And you guys accept it. Even that is a decline, just so we're clear. Stop renting your health from someone who profits on your sickness, you guys. Upgrade the damn hardware, upgrade the system, reflash your mind, like get your fitness dialed in, get your psychology straight, get around people that want you to win. Don't sit there and cancel you and ostracize you for your success. Tell those people to get fucking bent. You need to be around people who want you to just be the top of your game 24/7, 365. You want to know why I created the black card? Because that's the only people that are in that group, because they're the people that go, I want to know dosing, treatment, protocols, all of it. So if you go, it's not really worth $5,997, then I'm not for you. And that's okay. If you're like, I just have one question. Well, it's a minimum of a $6,000 question. So if you want it, then you can just go into the link and you can join. It's for a 1-year program and I don't give you your money back. If you join it, you can go right to hell. If you're like, it's not exactly what I wanted, then don't join in the first place. Because you need to turn on the computer that's been sleeping between your ears. Because right now you're letting it get run by everybody else instead of becoming the CEO of your own damn health. Your future self is betting on you to make the decisions today to hook it the fuck up later. Anyway, I hope this helps. I got to go. Never miss.